Yo, I'm doing excellent about yourself. I call my brother son cause he shine like one. Yo, new game, new game. You know when people come to you and they talk to you and they want to speak to you about what a situation, what occurred with them, I want you to just be neutral. Neutral and listen to what they're saying first. Okay, the reason why I say that is because you probably have noticed and paid attention in the past, or think about in the past when you've had a friend, family member tell you something, and then you start to feel the same sense of emotion that they're giving you telling the story. So whether it's anger, whether it's sorrow, if it's happy, then that's cool. But anything that's negative, you feel you absorb that. You start to actually reciprocate those same type of emotions, and you start really getting into the conversation. You're like, man, really? I can't believe that happened to you. That's this, that's such, whatever. I ask you to be neutral for your own sanity, because you always know there's versions to the story. Someone is always going to tell you their version of the story. And a lot of times, they're missing some pieces in that story. They're not going to tell you the full version of that story. So you wind up become invested in that story, and then you digest those emotions, and that affects you. Because then you go off thinking like, man, I can't believe this happened. This happened to my family member, my friend, or such and such or whatever. You start to digest that. It goes through your daily life. It goes on for a week, a month, or whatever. When in actuality, maybe there was something else more to that story that they left out and they didn't tell you. And now you are completely locked in. And if you stayed neutral and just listen and say, okay, you know what, hey, that's maybe give some advice or something like that, but don't get invested in it emotionally, then you could spare yourself from some of the after findings that you find out after the fact. Because you're going to find out after the fact what actually happened. And then a lot of times you're sitting there like, well, then if that happened, then okay, well, then that was to be expected. Know what I mean? So listen to what whoever is saying what they're saying. Give them some feedback, but try to disconnect yourself from being vested in that story until you know both sides of the story or all sides of the story. Try that. I'm telling you, man, it'll save you a lot of headache, a lot of stress, a lot of worrying, a lot of different things. It will save you that. Just give it some time and let it fully come out. A lot of times, man, it's a whole lot of stuff that's packed in there. And then you start to figure out the individual that you're talking to. Sometimes folks are just really extra drama filled. And they'll tell you a whole bunch of stuff. And if you know them well enough, you're like, nah, you know what? There's a lot more to that. And this even applies to customers. If you're in a service-oriented business, customers, when they start telling you a whole bunch of stuff about what somebody else said and did and all this other stuff, you can't get vested, man. You can't get vested. I'm telling you, because there's other sides to the story. Now, there are some times where you got to sit up here and if you're in that service industry and you got to talk to the other folks on the other side of that stuff and get it straight, right? You definitely have to do that. But a lot of times there's some things that you get really animated about and you go to bat for that customer and then come to find out that wasn't even real. The well wasn't even a real deal, man. They told you a whole bunch of stuff because they heard what they wanted to hear, not what they were told. Anyway, the boys got to get some rest. So I bid you all a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Say please. Say thank you. Smile. Laugh each and every day. I'm going to catch up with you on the next note. Peace out.